Hey guys, Kev here, and I have a review to do for you. So this right here is the Jack Wolf Knives Feel Good Jack. So this puppy dropped today, May 12th at 2 p.m. Eastern. And it's absolutely fantastic. It is one of my favorite releases yet, and that keeps happening, but I be telling the truth. I have to say, it's become one of my favorites because of the blade shape, the feel in hand, the overall just slimness, sleekness, slenderness of it. The cutting is amazing on this thing. It's such a freaking laser beam. And the walk and talk is fantastic. And then aesthetically, it's just really, really clean. I love it. So, because of that, I, went a little overboard. So, I have 3 of them here. I have slips on the way from Troy, so I was using these as placeholders. The Lansdale leather slip and an extra Northwoods slip I had for a different knife. And here we go. This is the Feel Good Jack. It comes in 5 handle materials, so you can get the White Storm Fat Carbon, the Limoncello Camo Carbon, the Lava Flow Fat Carbon, and then there is a Dark Matter Blue Fat Carbon and a Bazooka Pink Camo Carbon, which is a really broad, spectrum right there. You go all the way from a sort of subtle blending in of grays and whites and blacks to a vibrant yellow. And then you have a red and a pink in between and a very subtle dark matter blue. So there's lots of options for you if you're interested, if you haven't picked one up yet. If you have picked one up yet, I would be curious to hear which one you got and why, and what you think of it if you have it already. So, yeah, the Feel Good Jack is a doctor's knife pattern, and that basically means it's slim and slender, and it's sort of rectangular, and it has this flat end, so it can actually stand up if you're on a flat surface. Oop, come on. There. It can stand up because it is flat down here, but Ben did make sure all of these corners were chamfered. So everything's chamfered. There's still a corner here, but it's much more knocked down than you'd normally see on an angle like that. So he took care of all that. And then you have the triple fluted bolster, sort of his signature at this point. You have a really long pull, which is nice. You have that beautiful belt satin that he is known for as well. You are rocking S90V steel. And it is nice and thin behind the edge. I think he said somewhere around 12 thousandths, which is nice. It's not as tall as some of the other blades, so it's not going to get as thin. But this thing is an absolute laser beam. If you're curious about the cutting, I would 100% recommend you go check out Stasa23's review. He's going to have nice cutting footage. I heard Donnie B All Day has a good cutting footage video as well. But you can see this thing just zips through. It's an absolute pleasure to cut with. Here's the White Storm, just to show you 3 examples. None of them have been touched by me. This one may be even a little sharper. And you can see when I cut through, listen. You hear that one tear a little bit? This one, a little bit cleaner. So this one might be a little bit thinner, a little bit sharper. I don't know. But they both cut really well. And then we have the Lava Flow. This one's Loctiting, so I'm trying not to do too much with it. And yeah, this one's like that one. And this is the one I've carried, so it could just be that the amount of use I put into it took off that, laser beam clean edge from factory. But I can attest to the fact that they all come razor sharp and good to go. Just clean this up. Still worse trying to pick paper up. All right, so what else do I want to cover? Ergonomics. So it looks very, you know, it's rectangular, so you'd think it would be pretty uncomfortable, but honestly, it feels really good in my hand. As long as you don't get hit by the corner back here, which again, it's not sharp, but it is a corner. When I hold it like this, that corner misses me, and it feels really good in the hand. Now, obviously, you have to be careful if you're going to put your thumb up here. So you could just come into a hammer grip like this, and you're definitely not going to feel that. If you're at a gas station on a Friday night, and for some godforsaken reason, you have left your Divo knives Pony Stout at home, and you can't get to it, you could fend off a Slurpee thief with your Feel Good Jack. And I can probably bet you it ain't gonna feel good for the Slurpee taker. Now, it might not feel good for you either if you get them and close this thing on your hand, but you know, I would never recommend using a slip joint for self-defense. But hey, if it's all you had, it would do the trick. It actually is very comfortable in this grip because you have this flat spot back here. You know, you don't have a guard or anything, and of course I'm joking, so everything with a grain of salt, folks. One thing I picked up pretty quickly was because of that corner back here, if you rest your hand like this, like I tend to kind of just nestle the end of the handle into my palm. You do feel that a little bit, so what I picked up quickly was you just rest it on top of your palm like this, bang, bang. It becomes second nature very quickly, and you have no issue. It's the same thing with the Midnight Jack. And yeah, if you want to compare it to the Midnight Jack, I don't want to get it out. I did it in the unboxing or the first impressions. It is just slightly longer than the Midnight Jack, but it is much shorter this way. The Midnight Jack is taller. Honestly, after handling this, when I go grab the Midnight feels kind of large and big. Which it really isn't in the scheme of things, but compared to this it is, which is kind of interesting, right? Because this is, it's not a small knife. You know, lengthwise it's actually quite, long. So, I don't know, just something to note. The walk and talk is fairly consistent throughout. I've handled 4 at this point, and they all feel very good. I will say this limoncello just has the it factor. It has some kind of magic in it where it just, I don't know, acoustically maybe. Just has a little touch more to it than the other ones. And it's like literally, actually, I think this one's breaking into the same. So I take that back. And I'm sure this will happen as well. This one's Loctiting, so like I said, I really don't want to go crazy. If you can't tell, I accidentally it up. So when I got it, I'll tell the story real quick. When I got it, I always open and close them a few times when I get them and kind of feel them out. And when I got this one, I could tell right away that it was going to break in super nice and quick, and that's what it did. It's beautiful. This one, when I got it, I could tell it was a little tight, right? There's actually a change on the Feel Good versus all the previous models, according to Ben on the live stream last night. Please go check out the live stream. And what he said was he had the factory kind of not finish the inside of the scales where the washers ride. I almost said polish, but they don't polish them. That's what I would recommend, is polishing them, but they just don't finish them, so they don't bead blast them. And that way the washers can break in a lot quicker because they don't have to get through that bead blast. But anyway, when I get it, I can tell sometimes if it's a little tight, right? Because essentially what I can feel is every, like I can feel every piece of the finish as it's opening and closing. Like you can just tell it's tight, which is not a big issue at all. You just loosen the pivot a touch if you care. Some people don't care, and I bet you if you waited a month and just kept opening and closing it, it would break in perfectly. But I usually speed that up by just loosening the pivot or both, and then kind of getting them where I like them, and then Loctiting them / gluing them. And that's what I did. I glued this one, and I had no issues with that. But then when I got this one, I did the same thing. And, well, I'm a dummy, and I took the one screw out, and then I was cleaning the inside of the barrel, and I pushed the barrel through too far, and then it was like I could see the washer moving, and then I was trying to push it back through, and stupidly was using my bit, and I wrapped it around a cloth, but it did not care, and it just slipped, and it scratched through the cloth and took this nice scratch right onto the scale there. Hoping it wears in over time, just going in and out of a slip and whatnot, but I don't really mind. It's kind of a war wound. That's the stuff I don't care about. Centering and action is the stuff I care about, which I can tell you all three of these are damn near dead center. That one's just slightly off, but it is within a, 5 or 10% margin, which is perfectly fine with me. Dead center on this one, and then this one is dead center as well. So very, very good across the board. Out of all the ones I've handled, I have not seen, any type of issues, which is really cool. So shout out to Ben and his QC, which takes a lot of time and effort, He is also pre-oiling them now. So he puts a little dab of oil on the tang on each knife, because he wasn't doing that at first, and some people, they didn't know to oil it, and it would become kind of a thing, so he just started doing it, which is incredible, honestly. So, very good walk and talk. I very much enjoy it. The spring is really nice. It goes all the way around. It's really cool. So, anyway, I think that about covers it on the Feel Good Jack. I just wanted to kind of do a follow-up sort of review now that I've had it for a week or so, and I love it. It's definitely become a favorite of mine. It's up there with the Low Drag, the Venom, the Midnight, the Cyborg. Those are probably my favorites. I love all of them. The Big Bro is very good. The Vampire, the list goes on. But this one has risen to the top for me. I just like these slim ones. Something to do with you can see the spring on that is nice and stiff. I don't know how Ben does that, like, over and over. He must have stronger hands than I do. I'm just afraid to get myself, so I could do it right here, but then I feel like it's going to come down and just cut me, and I don't want to be that close to the blade, so I want to be down here, but then I don't get as good of a grip on it, and then I feel like I'm going to, I don't know. It's just more of a scared factor, I think. I forget what I was going to say. Oh, I like the slimness. Those are the ones I tend to like the most. The Low Drag became a favorite for me because of the sort of smaller nature of it compared to others, So let me know what you guys think. Be curious to hear if you picked one up and why. If you didn't, why? If you're waiting for something, why? And which ones do you think will sell the best? I made a list of what I think will sell the best, and I think it's going to go Lava Flow, White Storm, then Dark Matter Blue, then Lemon, Cello, and then Pink. That's my guess. Just something, Ben and I sometimes will sort of project, which is kind of fun, So that's it. I love you guys. Big shout out to Ben for sending along the White Storm review sample. I then I paid full price. I bought these two, and I'm very happy with them. So I love you guys. I hope you have an absolutely fantastic day. There's a link down below to all the dealers that have them or will have them, and then a list of a link to the dealer list on the Jack Wolf site, so you can go down the line and find the one you want. And yeah, love you guys. Hope you have an absolutely fantastic day. And one last thing, big shout out to Donnie. Donnie announced he is now joining, or will be joining, the Jack Wolf team. So Ben has picked up a employee, essentially, in Donnie, who's been doing all his social media and other things as well. And Donnie just is a very cool dude. So congratulations. This is an awesome thing for both of you guys, and I'm really happy to see it. So love you guys. Hope you have a fantastic day, and I will catch you later.